On the Track is a web TV show about cryptozoology, natural history, green issues and whatever else the team feel like making up as they go along. Enjoy!
I want to dedicate this episode with love to the memory of my old friend Lorraine Braund, who was the little girl who lived next door when I first moved here in 1971. She died last week. And my thoughts, my prayers, my love and my healing vibes go out to her family and to her friends at this very sad time. Hello ladies and gentlemen. It's rather weird at the moment because we have no internet. And this is the second time in 10 days this has happened. Now, I don't know how many of you have read The Justified Ancients of Moo Moo novel 2023, but if you haven't, you really should have done. And one of the things that predicts is a time when the internet vanishes because the big communications satellite running it does something nasty and stops functioning. And the whole world goes back into what they call the technological dark ages, and people start behaving like people again. Well, nothing so exciting has happened here, because this happened again about 10 days ago, and then it turned out that it was vandalism by person or persons unknown, if I can quote the Poison Girls song, vandalism, which was presumably done because somebody believes that 5G signals rot your brain, or that the internet carries COVID or some such bollocks. And so, because of their beliefs, we haven't got any internet. And it's quite frightening how bereft that makes one feel. Because I would like at this very moment to phone Louis up and call Louis up and say, "Hey Louis, what do you think about this?" And I'd like to phone Miss Maxine and say, "Hey Miss Maxine, what do you think about that?" But as it is, it's just me and Lilith and a couple of books of plays that arrived this week by Tenzing Scott Brown, who is otherwise known as Bill Drummond. And so, although I spend most of my time complaining about the modern world, how I don't like the modern world, how I don't like our reliance on technology, I'm as much of a pussy as anybody else when the technology isn't there. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's just me, Lilith the cat, Lilith Tinkerbell the cat behind me, and you guys. I won't be talking to you guys. You guys won't be seeing this for another 3 or 4 weeks. But I'm talking to you guys because I've got nobody else to talk to. And it's a rather comforting feeling to know that you people, who really just exist in my head and will eventually, I hope, be watching the show, are here for me to talk to. Does that make me a peculiar, screwed up old man? Yeah, probably, but I am a peculiar, screwed up old man. My name's John Downs, and welcome to another episode of On the Track. Now that's what I call a technologically bereft introduction.
I really like the old credits.
The night that Corinna was rushed to hospital for the last time in July 2020, a lot of stuff in the house got trashed because, as always, there were lots of things in my office, and in order to get the stretcher in, things were thrown outside, things were moved none too gently, and a lot of things were broken, including, sadly, the big life-sized Orang Pendek that Adele Morse had made for us some years ago. So we sent it to Carl's dad, John Marshall, whom you know from the last few episodes of On the Track is an accomplished taxidermist. And so he had the strange job, and I presume it's one he's never had before, of repairing an Orang Pendek.
Still a bit further. Don't want to come out the back though. I don't want it to come out over here. It's got to be enough now. I should think that'll be alright, wouldn't it? That's it. I hope that one's in enough. Oh, it's good for it. That's it. Right, now we've got to glue on. So really we want to stand it up now.
The other week when we showed you John Marshall doing the mount for the flying lizard, which I accidentally bought on eBay. How can you buy a flying lizard accidentally on eBay? Well, watch the show and you'll find out.
Put on fish heads, you see.
Yeah.
That's how I know it works well. I've been putting it on fish for years. Yes, it might pay to do it twice actually, not try and do it in one go. We build it right up so the nails are missing, and then actually get the shape of it better, because it's all the way down here as well, it's even the ankle gone.
Yeah.
Any more than that anyway, that should be just over that.
Yeah.
Right, so what I want to do really is just bring that forward and just a lump there, so that then we next coat you start to. The last one will be the one with all the detail in it, I think. Well, unless we get just the toes. So,
when we broadcast the episode with him doing the mounting of it on, one of the people in the live chat said that he could stay and watch John working on stuff like this all day. And I know what he means. I find this totally fascinating.
you get a knife out the drawer. It's only this coat that'll be this thick. The other ones will be easier to manage than this.
I've got 2 left feet. I can't make anything anyway. I am totally impossible at actually making anything that at my primary school was called handwork. I can't draw, I can't paint, and I can't make model anything. But I enjoy watching John doing what he's doing. I find it a complete joy to watch a true craftsman at work. And trust me, John Marshall is a very true craftsman. I also find it truly entertaining that so much of what he does is done in his kitchen using ordinary household utensils. I always thought it was just me who had improper use of household utensils, but no, John Marshall is showing how to do it properly.
Oh, no. Could you wash that one up?
It's also heartwarming to see that Carl's little dog Loki is fascinated by what's going on and wants to be part of it. just in the same way as Archie does when we're doing something here. I know that one can't second guess what animals are thinking, particularly as we don't really know how their thought patterns go, but he's very interested in what's going on, and I wonder how he interprets having a 5-foot Orang Pendek covered in glue in the middle of his kitchen, because I'm sure he considers it to be his kitchen. I truly had no idea what a complicated process this was going to be. And here I am really enjoying watching Carl Marshall's dad, John, building up the musculature on the Orang Pendek foot using PVA glue. Because, as far as we're concerned, the Orang Pendek is a living, breathing animal. It's not some mythological creature that goes whoa out at you from behind a bush. It's not something that exists in the liminal space between zoology and folklore, like the Owlman or like the British Bigfoot. It is something real. It is a real flesh and blood animal, quite probably, we think, a new species of orangutan, or something very closely related to the orangutan, and the reason that it's a mystery is purely that it hasn't been discovered yet. It hasn't been comprehensively and definitively described yet. And so it's important that just in the same way that Adele Morse, who made the model first of all, portrayed a living, breathing animal, that the renovation work that John and Carl are doing here on the Orang Pendek model mirrors that and continues using the new information that has been gathered in the years since we were originally given the model. But here John is doing a fantastic job painting his handiwork, and very soon you would not be able to tell that there was any damage done to the Orang Pendek at all at any point.
His foot's, that one's a lot bigger than this one. That's how it was made, because that's the heel.
Yeah, it's not anatomically accurate, certainly not by any means.
No.
I think he's done a fantastic job, and we owe him a big, big debt of gratitude, which I don't think can ever be repaid.
I think that's a more realistic colour for a primate.
At this stage in the process, I think that it helps very much that both Carl and his father are such experienced field naturalists, and that Carl is studying zoology for a degree. This is a wonderful piece of work, and I don't know about you, but I find just sitting back and watching them at work an absolutely enthralling experience.
Do a smaller brush really. It's a bit bulky, that one.
The level of intricacy in John's handiwork is completely jaw-dropping. I am so privileged to be part of such a wonderful team. I am really, really grateful for this. And I think that this is what gives the Centre for Fortean Zoology an edge over its competitors. And that is that we have got experts in so many different subjects, from zoologists to taxidermists, and that they are all giving their time and their expertise in pursuit of a shared goal that we all think is worth pursuing. So Louis, without the internet, it's been a bit weird, but I've kept on doing On the Track. I've done some book reviews and I've caught up on my reading.
Books? Why are you living in the Stone Age? Young people don't need books. We've got TikTok.
So yes, while we've been without the internet, I've been in this wonderful position of not being able to do most of what I do. So I've been able to catch up on my reading. And I'm just going to share some of these books with you. And the first one is a book which was given to me for my birthday by Richard Muirhead. And it features somebody who you probably all know because he is already a regular contributor to the show. This is a book by Christopher Josiffe, and it's about Jeff, the talking mongoose.
Wait! Book about me? Why is it about me? 'Cause I'm ace. I've got a whole book all to myself. 'Cause I'm ace.
You certainly have, Jeff. And have you read the book?
I have. It's champion.
So what's your favourite bit about the book, Jeff?
The favourite bit about the book is where I freak people out by my shenanigans. You know, people like Rollo Ahmed and all that crowd that come sniffing round trying to find out what I was. Hey, but they never bloody well did. They even talked about me in Parliament, you know.
Did they? What did they say?
Oh well, they talked about this talking mongoose from the Isle of Man, and you know, and I got onto the BBC on the wireless. They didn't have telly back in them days. That they had no telly, but I did get on wireless.
Now, I think this is a fascinating book because Christopher Josiffe has done something which nobody else has done. Gone back and told not just the story of Jeff the Talking Mongoose, but framed it contextually within the story of people's belief systems back in the 1920s and 30s. And it is an absolutely cracking read. And I truly can't recommend it enough. And it's full of pictures. I didn't know that there were so many pictures of the people involved at the time. And for example, look at this. You've got pictures which were not even published at the time of the remote farmhouse, which was called Cashen Dawlish, wasn't it, rather than Cashen's Gap?
No, Cashen's Gap was the area. That was the area what it was in.
But the farm itself was called Cashen's Dawlish.
Ah, it was. It was.
One thing I always wondered, Jeff, and I don't know if you can answer this, how did you get on with the dog? Because there was a dog there, wasn't there?
There was. She was called Mona, and we got on great. I loved Mona. She was brilliant, and we went out, went hunting rabbits together with Vorry. We put the kibosh on the rabbits.
And you sort of faded out of the picture in about 1938. But I got the impression that you were probably there still in the background watching over Vorry and her family.
You know, when Jim pegged it weren't so much fun without Jimbo. And I hung around for a bit. I mean, I was there in the late 60s, early 70s, up to 1971, haunting the people that were pulling the house down.
And what do you think about these pictures which were drawn of you at the time? Surely that looks more like a squirrel than a mongoose.
It does. It looks now like a mongoose. God knows what they were thinking. Their drawing skills weren't up to much.
Well, I enjoyed the book massively. Lilith, who's on the fish tank behind me, enjoyed the book massively, and I totally recommend it to anybody who's interested in the weirder side of what happened in recent British history. I truly recommend it. Fantastic book. Well done to everybody involved.
And look what Max sent in.
Well, this is another birthday present, and as Cara just said, it was given to me as a birthday present by my old friend Dr. Max Blake, who is somebody I hold in very, very high esteem. I've known him since he was about 17, and he's now, golly, 30 odd, and he is a doctor, an entomologist working for the Forestry Commission, and he's doing a very, very, very interesting and worthwhile job. And he sent me this book, all about the birds of the world. And when it says on the cover, all the birds of the world, it ain't kidding. Look at this, totally at random. It shows every known species of bird that is known anywhere in the world. And one of the things that I find absolutely fantastic about this book is, and I'm going to see if I can bring it close in, each entry has a code. Are they called QR codes? QV codes? Q something or other code. And they've got a code that you can scan in. And you can then get a lot more information if you scan in it into your phone or mobile or whatever. Just out of it's here actually totally by chance. We opened up on the kakapo, and that's always been one of my favourite birds, but it was Corinna's favourite bird. And as you know, Corinna used to do the Watcher of the Skies section and on the track up until she died, and she did the same in Animals and Men. And I don't know, I just think it's a really weird little synchronicity that it opened when I opened at random. It opened at one of her favourite birds, and it proves, just as my old friend Doc Shields told me many years ago, that there ain't no such thing as a coincidence. In fact, he said it with a lot of swearing and in a very deep Irish accent. And I seem to remember he called me a Saxon bollocks at the same time. But he's right, there is no such thing as a coincidence. Things happen, the universe works in a very peculiar way. But I think that books like this are the future. I think that people are wrong when they say that the internet is going to kill the printed word. I think that the internet is going to, and pretty well has, killed newspapers and most magazines. But I think that the future of reference books, particularly such beautifully put together and lavish reference books as this, is totally secure. But I think that what we're going to see more and more of are hybrid books like this, books that work as a reference to an online repository of even more information. And I think this book is a remarkable piece of work, Thank you very much indeed, Max, for buying it for me. I am overwhelmed. And again, that's the risk of repeating myself, because I just said the same thing about Jeff the Talking Mongoose in his book. Well done to everybody involved.
If you want to support us and help us make more content like these, please press like, subscribe, follow our Facebook page and check out our Patreon.
And as the ghost of Joe Strummer, who is a regular visit to the studio, wants me to remind you, always remember to ring the notification bell. Otherwise, you won't be told when we've got a new show available. And that would be an awful pity, wouldn't it? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of another episode. And Lilith and I, as you'll see that Lilith's been with me nearly all the way through this episode, bid you a fond farewell. But you mustn't be sad, because after I have said thank you to everybody involved, and I'd like to say a big thank you to Cara, to Ralph, to Richard Freeman, to Graham Inglis, to Carl, and of course to Louis, who all do incredibly good things for this show, and you saw what they did, I don't really have to tell you. And of course to the inimitable John Marshall, Carl's dad. And great apologies, John, I forgot to credit you last time, so please, many apologies, and thank you very much for everything you did both in this episode and in the previous episode. And for those of you who are sad that we've come to the end of another episode, well, be sad no longer, because as Lilith and I can always tell you, we'll be back in 7 days. And 7 days, especially when you become an old git like me, a venerable old fellow with a long grey beard, great nieces and a granddaughter, I can tell you that the time goes past much faster than it used to. And in 7 days, we'll be back. And if you're going to be there to watch us, we'll be there watching you. And that sounds a bit creepy, but whatever happens, I'll be seeing you.